Today we're going to look at properties of rational exponents. This is just a continuation of properties of exponents, but now instead of the exponents being numbers like 2, 3, 5, -4, now our exponents are going to be fractions. So the rules are still exactly the same, we just have to deal with fractions. If we've got 3 to the 1/2 times 3 to the 3/4, multiplication, we would add the exponents. So we would do 1/2 plus 3/4. Now, if you're actually going to do this fully on paper, you would have to get common denominators. Do you remember adding fractions? You have to have common denominators. So 1/2 is really the same as 2/4. 2/4 plus 3/4 is 5/4. So really this is 3 to the 5/4. What if you don't want to find common denominators? You don't want to do all that work. If you have a scientific calculator with a fraction button, you can let the calculator do the work for you. So most of you have the TI-30X2S calculator. If you have a different calculator and you don't know how to use the fraction features on it, let me know, and I will definitely help you learn the fraction features on your calculator. So on this TI-30X2S calculator, you would type in 1 ABC button 2 plus 3 ABC button 4. The problem is it gives you the answer 1 1/4. Now in elementary and middle school, mixed numbers were important because you know that 1/4 is 0.25, so 1 1/4 is 1.25. Mixed numbers help you with number sense. But because if this is the equivalent of 5/4, tell a middle schooler, what is 5/4? It doesn't make sense in younger kids' brains. So mixed numbers are good for younger kids because it helps with number sense. Once we get to this level of math, mixed numbers are ridiculous. We don't like them. We don't want them. On your graph or on your scientific calculator, right above your ABC button, it says ABC arrow arrow D over E. If you push second and then your ABC button, it will change it to an improper fraction, which improper fractions are not improper. Improper fractions are the bomb. The next one, 4 to the 3/2 squared. We would multiply these, so we'd have 3/2 times 2. The number 2 is a fraction, it's just over 1. For multiplication, you can multiply straight across the top, straight across the bottom, or if you want to do 3ABC2 times 2, your calculator will tell you what the ultimate answer is. This would be 4 to the 6 over 2. What is 6 divided by 2? 3. So in your calculator, if you did 3ABC button 2 times 2, your calculator told you that the answer was 3, and you didn't have to do this step in the middle. So using your calculator will save you time when doing these. The next one, this is 9 to the 1/2 and 4 to the 1/2. We actually could go further. Do you remember that 1/2 is the same as a square root? So the square root of 9 is 3, the square root of 4 is 2, and 3 times 2 is 6. On your assignment today, your answers are given to you as multiple choice. So it will help you to see what they're going for by what answer choices they give you. So technically, we could take this further and say that this is 3 times 2, so this is 6. Or you could start at the beginning, 9 times 4 is 36, and 36 to the 1/2 is 6, but whatever. This is really the point that we're trying to make. The other thing is we are commonly going to use this property backwards. Yeah. So we are going to see things like 9 to the 1/2 times 4 to the 1/2 and realize that the 9 and the 4 are not the same, but the exponent is the same. So we could use this property backwards to put it back into the parentheses, and then we could do the 9 times the 4. So this particular property, we are often going to use backwards. All right, 25 to the -1/2 is 1 over 25 to the 1/2. Really, what I want you to see today is that these properties are all exactly the same as you've been using. It's just fractions instead of whole numbers. When we divide, we subtract the exponents. So 5 halves minus 1 half. 5 halves minus 1 half is 4 halves, which is 2. This is another property that we will often use backwards. This is 8 to the 1/3 over 27 to the 1/3. Now, I certainly don't expect you to know this, but 8 and 27 are both perfect cubes. So 8 to the 1/3 is really 2, and 27 to the 1/3 is really 3. So that's really the fraction 2/3. But this is the property that we're trying to illustrate, so that's really what I care about. I would like you to try numbers 1, 2, and 4 on your own. So pause the video, try 1, 2, and 4. Once you're done, play the video to check yourself. Number 1, I used the calculator to add 1/2 plus 1/3 to get 5/6. Number 2, I actually did the multiplication myself, but if you punched the multiplication into a calculator, you would have gone straight from the first step to the last step and skipped this middle step. 1/4 minus 3/4 is negative 1/2. An exponent of negative 1/2 will move that thing to the bottom, so it's 1 over 5 to the 1/2. Number 3, it says multiply, so we think multiplication, we're going to add the exponents. But to do that property, the 3 and the 27 would have to be the same number. Do you see how 3 and 27 are not the same number? The only thing that these do have in common is that they both have an exponent of 1/3. We're going to use that property backwards. If they both have an exponent of 1/3, then we can put them both inside the parentheses multiplied together with the 1/3 on the outside. We can then do 3 times 27 to get 81. So this simplifies to 81 raised to the 1/3. Number 5 and number 7 are that same type of problem. In number 5, 48 and 12 are not the same number, so we can't subtract the exponents. But you might notice that the exponents are the same number. If the exponents are the same, you can stick the division problem inside the parentheses and put the exponent outside. Because if I gave you 48 over 12 raised to the 1/5, you would rewrite it as 48 to the 1/5 over 12 to the 1/5. So we're just using that property backwards. We can then do 48 divided by 12 in our calculators. This is 4 raised to the 1/5. If we skip over to number 7, do you see how number 7 is that same type of problem? If all of the exponents are the exact same thing, put 10 times 24 divided by 15 in the parentheses with the 3/4 on the outside. When I do 10 times 24 divided by 15, I get 16. So our final answer there is 16 raised to the 3/4. Okay, number 6. It is 6 to the 1/7 times 6 to the 4/7. So the 6's match, which means that we can add the exponents. So I would start by adding the exponents and then deal with that 6 on the outside. So we'd have 6 to the 1/7 plus 4/7. 1/7 plus 4/7 is 5/7. 5/7 times 6 is 30/7. If you don't have a scientific calculator, you may want to use the graphing calculator that's on your computer. The nice thing about this graphing calculator is that it's designed for this level of math, meaning it's not going to give you mixed numbers at all. So if you're deciding to use your graphing calculator, say we wanted to do, what's one of these that resulted in a mixed number? Is it that very first one? 1/2 plus 3/4. We'll do that. We'll do 1/2 plus 3/4. If you're using your graphing calculator, you would do 1 divided by 2 for 1/2 plus 3 divided by 4 for 3/4. When you hit enter, you get a decimal. The keystroke that you need to know on the graphing calculator is math button, enter, enter. And that gives you the fraction as an improper fraction. So on the graphing calculator, the keystroke that you need to know is math button, enter, enter. When you do math button, enter, enter, the math button gives you a bunch of options. The first option is change to fraction. You push enter and then you tell it, yes, change 1.25 to a fraction, and then it gives you that fraction. So math, enter, enter is the keystroke for the graphing calculators. Your assignment today is 5.2 Part 1 in Big Ideas Math. Each question is multiple choice answers, so you have 2 answer clicks. So do the problem, make your best guess, check your answer. If it says that you're wrong, see if you can figure out what you did wrong, revise it. You have 1 more answer click. Hopefully by the time you've clicked twice, you have the answer for sure, because you won't be able to click again. If I do more than that, there's a few people who would just click through and not actually do the problem. So do the problem the best you can the first try, then do your answer clicks.